Okay. So, hey, this is Polly. I am here to do my playoff prediction, and I am we're opening up to a scene of a man descending into madness. So, right here we have our playoffs, and we have a lot of colors on the screen. We're gonna break it down into two columns, and then the third column, which is whatever. This is the current standings in order. The team name colors are the week 5 matchup. So if they're matching, they're playing each other. For example, Jacksonville Jolteons, Philadelphia Beedrills are playing each other. They're both labeled in blue. So, and then there's the coach name, which is because Lon Lon and Matt haven't played their week 4 matchup yet. I'm pretty sure Lon Lon's going to win, and my playoff scenarios are going to be going forward with that. Krim said to wait a week. I ignored him because that's not how I ride. And most importantly is the color of behind the logos here, which is corresponding to likelihood to make the playoffs. If you're green, you've clinched the playoffs. And the reason this is because this will be the big thing going forward, is that if you end this year with 3 wins, you're in the playoffs. I've tested this by doing the most amount of 3-2 teams possible, and including the teams that would go 5-0 or 4-1, you'd be left with 12 teams that have at least 3 wins, which is our playoff cutoff. So if you get 3 wins, you are in. So all the teams that already have 3 wins are in. So that would be Jacksonville, Las Vegas, Miami, Philadelphia, New York, Seattle, and Denver. You've clinched the playoffs. Congratulations. The blue teams are Cleveland and LA Rams. So Lon Lon and Fruit. They are blue because they could lose both games and still get in the playoffs, in Lon Lon's case. Or you could lose the one game and still get in the playoffs in Fruit's case. And winning either of Lon Lon's games or Fruit's game would automatically put them in. Basically, they are very likely to make the playoffs. Next is the yellow group. The yellow group have the most writing on them because the yellow group, they need to win. If they win, they're in. If any of these 4, if Minnesota, LA Wild Chargers, Tennessee, or Houston, if any of these 4 win their games, they're already in. And they can still make it if they lose, but it gets really iffy. And you'll notice that 2 of the yellow teams are playing each other, which is probably going to be the match to watch this week. So Houston, Tennessee is going to be a very important match. Next set of teams we have is orange. These teams, they need to win their game and something needs to go right for them. Now, Chicago, similar to Lon, has 2 games to play, and if they win both of them, they're in. But they have a tough matchup against Lon, and then a very, I'm going to say even matchup against Honex. So, a lot needs to go his way. And if he loses just one of them, his plus minus is in an awful spot. So he really needs to. It's clutch or kick time for Chicago Bear. Takes an oblivion that. And then you have the Pikas, the Green Bay Pikas, and Buffalo Buffalon. And both these teams can get in if they win their game and have a really good plus minus. That's their scenario. And then lastly, we sadly get to the red teams, which are already eliminated going into week 5. And that's Kansas City, Pittsburgh, Carolina, and Detroit. Sad to say, Season 3 has came to an end to you. So, now that we've got that figured out, so clinched, highly likely, winning you're in, a lot needs to go your way, eliminated. Got that squared away. So, now we get into the headache part, if that part wasn't a headache, which is the actual scenarios of winning and losing. It would take a very long time for me to go over every single win-loss scenario. So instead, one second. Let me make one more copy of this. That's it. This is just this one, not filled in colors. Alright, yeah. So I'll do this. I don't have to make another copy. So, let's just punch in some numbers for just, let's just make some assumptions here. Bink, bink, 4, 4, 4. This is another really good game. If my assumption of Lanla winning his week 4 correct, then it's not going to matter for getting into the playoffs, but it'll matter a lot for seeding the LA Rams versus Las Vegas Raiders. And I think that, I'm pretty sure Lanlan will win it. So, let's put this as 2, 4, 2, 3. This is another tight matchup, but I think Hunky's going to win it. Quick check, yeah. So, this is just punching in some numbers, rapid predictions, how the week 5 matchups could go. And not including plus minus. I actually have a complete prediction of how the playoffs will turn out right here that I'll show near the end of the video. Let's just do some sorting real quick. This is just to illustrate my point about the colors. And then we'll break it down. The green line is going to be a troll the whole video. Ignore the green line. The green line doesn't matter except for this one. Seven, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So, breaking down my point about the colors, you'll see 12 and above are in the playoffs. This is 12 wins. And just punching in a random quick predict, all the yellow teams that won are in. The blue Fruit Loops could lose 6-0 in this scenario because Frost lost this. He'd be at least -1. Fruit Loops could lose 6-0, and unless the Buffalon wins 6-0, he's still in. I think that Cleveland is damn near clinched, even with a 2-2 record, just because their plus minus is that good. So, 12 teams are in. Just random quick predictions. Now, if we go back to here, which is the current standings, then I'm going to break down real quick. I'm not going to edit this video, by the way, because I don't know how to fucking edit, so this is just going to be a one-shot recording. Now, quickly, let's just because I've been running a lot with Lon beating Oblivion Matt, and let's just, for the sake of argument, say boom, 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 boom. Let's say this happens, where Lon loses his matchup. This still, the playoff scenario still barely change, but Chicago is suddenly in a win-win scenario, in a winner-out scenario with Minnesota. So, like I said, Matt needs to win both games. Lon is pretty safe. So, we could go over a lot of things, but the general consensus to take away from this video is if you are yellow, I'm going to just call it specifically, Houston Hexans, so Hunky, Frost, Acid, Honex, and Matt. You must win this game this week. You are in a very winner-out scenario. So, with that said, actually, you know what? Before I get to my own predictions, just want to do a quick piece about these orange people. They need to win their games by a lot. Because they're 1-3. And with the exception of Kansas City, since their plus minus is really bad, they have lost their games by a close margin, basically. So, like, in the different breakdowns I've done off camera, just silently, the only one or at the most two teams that are 2-3 will get into the playoffs. So, and it is a fight. And in most of those I was breaking down, Fruit Loops was one of the teams that was 2-3, and he has a positive plus minus. So it is a fight to get in for that last spot, and that last spot barely even exists. So a ton needs to go the way of specifically the Pikas and the Buffalon. And with that said, let me get into my own predictions. The official Poly playoff prediction, including plus minus breakdowns, and including every single game, including the week 4 match between Lon and Matt. And that is this. The teams in green are in the playoffs, the teams in red are not. I think that this would be how the playoffs play out, with Denver, Seattle, New York, and the Rams getting a first round bye. The Philadelphia, Miami, and LA Rams are all within 1 plus minus of each other. And I didn't do tie breaks for this because I did not want to have an aneurysm trying to figure it out. But this because top 4 get a bye, this is going to be interesting. I didn't put a whole lot of thought into the plus minus. So I'd say that Lon, Kona, and Krim are probably that you want to win by a good margin here. I have. This is what I was saying about the 2 and 3 teams. This scenario that I put in here has 1, 2, and 3 team. It's Fruit, and he has a plus minus of 4, which is 4 higher than Honex getting in with a 0 at 3 and 2. So, if you want my official Poly playoff prediction, here it is. I may have put myself for winning my last matchup. I think that I'm going to win. I'm confident. And to the shock of all, yes, the team that was 20th in the power rankings, I'm fully expecting to go 5-0 with the best plus minus in the league. Zone is godlike and an easy showing for Coach of the Year. Even if he loses this round, he's showing for Coach of the Year. I think that's pretty obvious. And so, with all that said, I'm pretty sure that just about wraps up the Poly prediction. It's less thorough than last season's, because it is both more simple in the fact that just getting 3 wins will get you in. It is also more complex because there's a lot more teams to deal with. But this is how I think it'll go. And so this is how I think it'll go. And this is the current scenario. This is the current standings with color coded for likelihood to get into the playoffs. So with that said, that should be it. Polywow 44 playoff predictions. And thank you for watching. Subscribe, yada yada. Bye bye.